72 feet per second from a platform 24 feet high. The pumpkin's height h at the time t seconds can be represented by the equation h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 72t plus 24. If you notice, all of these are in feet, and if you're right back to Friday, we talked about where that negative 16 came from. I was trying to remember 9.8 meters per second. It's the converted to feet. So the negative 16, that is the speed at which that object falls, but in feet. And if you look, all of these were in feet. Well, they want you to find the maximum height of the pumpkin and the time it takes to reach this maximum point. So what did I tell you to use? What was the top of the parabola's equation? Vertex, very good. So we're doing x equals negative b over 2a. And this equation, what is my b equal to? Very good. Over 2, what's my a?
Negative 16.
I should say t equals. I put x out of habit, but I should say t. What is negative 72 divided by 2 times negative 16? And it will be a decimal. 2.25, right? That's my t. That's the time it takes to reach maximum height. All right, then how do I find the maximum height? Now that I found the time, how do I find the height? Look at it, very good. That's our t value. We have now h of 2.25 negative 16 times 2.25 squared plus 72 times 2.25. So we're going to add 24 to the end. So all you're doing is typing that in the calculator. What do you get when you type it in the calculator for your maximum height? What did you get?
267.
Let me double check my work.
105. Yeah.
105, and did you end up getting 105? That's what I have. Alright, so the height is 105 feet, and then the time was 2.25 seconds. To me, that's probably the easiest one, where you just have to use the axis of symmetry. Is there any questions on number 1? Number 2, a squirrel is 24 feet up in a tree and tosses a nut out of the tree with an initial velocity of 8 feet per second. The nut's height h at time t seconds can be represented by the following equations. If the squirrel climbs down the tree in 2 seconds, does it reach the ground before the nut? How do we answer this one? So if it takes him 2 seconds to climb down the tree, will he reach the nut before it hits the ground?
Yes.
How do you know? What did you do? Who's talking? Is it Kayla or Jules? Who's talking?
22.
Well, the squirrel, that's not the equation for the squirrel. The nut's equation is this, but we know it's going to take the squirrel 2 seconds to get to the ground. But we don't have the equation for the squirrel because this is the nut. Yeah, so how do I do that? How do we know how long it's going to take that nut to hit the ground? What did you say?
Vertex.
The vertex would be maximum height. We want to know when it's going to hit the ground. So the nut's going, so here's the ground. What's the value at the ground? 0, right. So we want to know how long it's going to take to hit the ground. So how do I find that out on a parabola? What's that? Plug in a 0 for what? T is the, no, we're looking for T. Where do I put the 0? The height, yeah, because the height is 0 at the ground. So you're going to do 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 8t plus 24. Now what do I do? What did you mean by that?
What?
I think you were right. What do you mean? I think you were right, though. Are you doing a square root sign? Yes, the quadratic formula, I think is what you're meaning, right? Yeah, anytime the quadratic formula is going to work. So we're going to do the negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so tell me what to write for this quadratic equation.
Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times negative 16.4.
Yeah.
Over 2 times negative 16.
Perfect. Okay. I should put t, I keep putting x, but that really should be t. T is equal. I type that in your calculator and you just give me the decimal. What are the 2 decimals you would get? This would be the square root of 1600, I'll tell you.
So it'd be 40.
Very good. So 8 plus 40 divided by negative 32, what would we get?
Negative 1.5.
What did you get? Positive 1.5 would be one of them. What's the other one? Negative 4?
1.
Negative 1 is right, yes. Alright, so which one do we obviously want? The positive. That takes 1.5 seconds. Now we still have to answer the question. So what we just found was that the nut took 1.5 seconds to hit the ground. The squirrel took 2 seconds. So does he reach the ground before the nut?
No.
No, he does not. He can still eat it, right, but he just didn't reach it first.
Yes, the hope is that 0.5 seconds that now another squirrel takes the knife.
True. What if it's like overrun with squirrels?
That's the perfect
Alright, you ready for number 3? Yes. A quarterback throws a football from a height of 6 feet with an initial velocity of 20 feet per second. The height h of the ball at time t seconds can be represented by the equation blah blah blah. The ball is caught at 2 feet. Find the range of the function. What do I do here? What are your thoughts?
The height is 2 feet.
Yep, so that's the start, right? It's never going to fall below 2. So I know that when I'm looking at the range, my y value is not going to go below 2. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, good. How do I find then the max range? Exactly, we're going to figure out the vertex. That'll show how high it went. We already know its lowest point, which was 2 feet. All right, so I'll do t equals negative b over 2a. This time, what is my b equal to? Very good. And my a is always going to be negative 16, it seems. What is negative 20 divided by 2 times negative 16? You can give me the decimal. Very good. Alright, so that's my time it's going to take to reach the maximum height. So how do I find the maximum height? Plug it in. Very good. So we're going to do h of 0.625. That's negative 16.625 squared plus 20 times 0.625 plus 6. So what do you get there? So we're typing this in our calculator. This is probably the easiest question you'll get all day. Type it in. Very good. So the max height is 12.25, and I believe we are in feet. Make yourself a note that this is your max height. we talked about how to list out the range. So we already talked about this. Short form told us what the minimum height was. What was the minimum height? 2. So you're going to write 2 is less than or equal to, we'll call it y. Well, y is range. It's h now. We'll call it y just to keep it simple. The max then is 12.25. So that's the range in feet that ball will be in the air. Yes, Connor?
What does that say next to, like to the right of the 12.25 in green?
Feet.
What is it?
Feet. Right here.
Yeah, what is that?
Feet.
Okay.
And this would be seconds. Any questions on any of those? All right.